So as we know, the 2021-2022 NBA season is less than a month away. And it's only right that I do this. I had to do this. And I already know. These type of topics, lists, they can get controversial. But I like it. I love debate, man. I love to talk about these type of stuff. So I'm going to get to it. So, it's your boy, Justxnjae, Hoop Talks, bringing you the top 25 NBA players coming into the season. Before I start, I would like to say, even though this is a top 25 players coming into the 2021-22 NBA season, Klay Thompson, regardless of him coming back into the season, will not be on the list. Only because he hasn't played the last 2 NBA seasons. He is not eligible to make this list. Regardless of him coming back, we haven't seen him in 2 seasons. So it's hard to really gauge where he would be at. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get to the main topic, man. Let's get to it. And we gotta start from the bottom of the list to the top, to the best player coming into this season. Let's get to it. Three, we got Zion Williamson. This guy has a lot to prove this year, in my opinion. Last year, great numbers. 27-7. Now, I didn't know that he would be a better offensive player than defensive player. And that's pretty much the reason why he's not on the top 25. Because he has a good offense, but his defense has not been up to par. 0.6 blocks per game for his size and athleticism is unacceptable. But I expect better this season. I love Zach LaVine's game. What we've seen from him so far, he's a great scorer who puts up great numbers on a bad team. This year, he has a good squad around him. And as the best player on that squad, I expect to see something. Defensively, there's not much. Playmaking, he's okay. So, personally, I just don't think anything he does usurps all the other players that made this list. Jaylen Brown had the best year he had so far last season, averaging 24 points. I mean, at sometimes I thought he was better than Jason Tatum. It was weird. I didn't expect him to grow that much offensively. The fact that his offense has not only caught up to his defense, but most likely usurped it now, is very interesting to watch. Him just working on his overall game now will only make him higher in rankings and even a better basketball player. This guy is going to be scary within the next few years. At 25, we got Ben Simmons. Now, this one is kind of painful because he should be higher than 25. Everything he does is elite or great besides shooting. Rebounding, great. Defense, great. Ball handling, great. Playmaking, great. Attacking the rim, great. Fast breaks, great. Finishing traffic, great. Everything he does is great, elite. But he's just not a good shooter, not a good shot creator. Outside of the paint, because in the paint he can create shots. It's one thing to not be a good shooter. It's another to lack so much confidence in your shot, in yourself, that it derails you from being great at the other parts of the game. I mean, you lose so much confidence that you don't want to attack the rim because you don't want to shoot free throws. This is a mental issue that he clearly needs to get sorted out. Because if he doesn't, I don't really see him getting any better. His ranking in terms of best players is only going to drop. But I hope the best for Ben Simmons because he is a talent. And I hate to see that talent get wasted. At 24, we got Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler was hard to rank because at nights he would look like a top 12 to top 10 player in the league. Like, what the heck? And then he would look like 24, where I ranked him at currently. It's kind of weird with Jimmy Butler. It's because he's not necessarily a scorer or takes initiative on the offensive end. Even though he can do it on nights, you don't really see it from him. He just a team player, plays defense. He will play make. He will score when he needs to. He will play his role. This is Jimmy Butler, who's good at a lot of things, just not elite at anything. For 23, we got Rudy Gobert, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Finally an All-Star. I mean, what can I say? He is a generational talent on the defensive end when it comes to defending the rim protection, help defense. He is historically great on that. And when he has the ball in the paint, it's pretty much a bucket. 67% from the field. We know majority of that, basically all of that, is coming from the paint. And he could have been higher on this list, but he got exposed. Listen, he's a great rim protector, historically great. But anything outside of the paint, and he's cooked. Even when it comes to post defense, I would say he can get cooked. Closing out on threes, pick and roll defense, perimeter defense. He's not really going to help you there. 22 is Cat. Now, Cat had a quiet year last year. And yes, 24 and 10 with 4.5 assists for Cat is kind of quiet. He shot his lowest field goal percentage last year at 48%. This is for a guy who's usually 50% and above. But then again, he also got COVID. So last year was really just an off year for him. But it doesn't change the fact that we didn't really see improvement. And during this time, we did see other players improve. It doesn't change the fact that he's still a very skilled big, especially on the offensive end, and capable on the defensive end. But I just want to see him progress. 21 is Russell Westbrook. Westbrook had a pretty good year last year. He didn't make the All-Star team, but that's because he started off hella slow. But he picked it up, of course, averaging 22, 11, and 11, dragging the Washington Wizards to the 8th seed, along with Bradley Beal. And he is Westbrook. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to attack the rim. He's going to bring energy. He's going to rebound. He's going to be a playmaker. His shot will be inconsistent. And this is where we get to the negatives. Because when he's off the ball, he's not very effective. And on the defensive end, he could become lackadaisical. Little to no effort, really. But I expect to see a difference this year. Him now joining the Lakers, hopefully it will rejuvenate him into becoming a good defender again. Not only when he wants to be, but making it consistent. Along with understanding that you don't have to be a good shooter to be good off the ball. You can cut. And with teammates like LeBron and Rondo, it will make that part of the game a whole lot easier. It's safe to say that Bradley Beal just had the best season of his career. 31 points on 48% shooting is stellar. He's an elite scorer, a good defender, a good playmaker, and he could play off the ball. The only real fault in his game is that we haven't really seen him lead a squad into the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year, but that was after when Westbrook turned up, and he's made it clear that he wants to stay. So this is your chance to prove me wrong. Show that you can be the best player by far on the team. And make the play-in. I want to see them make the play-in and make it competitive. Because this squad's not making the playoffs. Trae Young has become an elite guard in the NBA. Not only making himself to be one of the best shooters in the league, but arguably the best passer in the league. He led his team to the conference finals, his first time being in the playoffs, putting on a show against the Knicks in the Garden, upsetting the Philadelphia 76ers and taking the NBA champions to 6 games. The only real flaw in his game is that he is a defensive liability, mainly due to size. Sadly, he can't help that. But the good thing is that all the other aspects of the game that you can improve on, he's been improving on. So that's a good thing to see. 18 is Bam Adebayo. Now Bam, very versatile on the defensive end. Scarily versatile. Switching on pick and rolls. Perimeter defense on guards. Post defense on bigs. And protecting the rim. And that's only the defensive side. He's a smart player too. So he can navigate around the court when he's off the ball. When he has the ball, he has a good mid-range game. He can shoot the 3 occasionally. And just to add icing on the cake, he can go there on the perimeter, handle the ball, make plays for his teammates when he needs to. The only thing about it is that you don't want him to be your main option when it comes to scoring. You want someone else to have that role. Chris Paul deserved the spot. With the MVP caliber season he had last year, being an all-star, bringing the Suns from not even making the playoffs to the NBA Finals. And I mean, obviously, the team has players such as Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. But his leadership, man, it showed. It was the reason why they made it that far. His will, even after being injured, he still willed himself to play and beat the Lakers. This guy was impressive last year. And he put no doubt in my mind that it will carry on to this season. Donovan Mitchell is coming off the best year of his career, 26-4-5, leading his squad to the first seed and being the best record in the NBA. It was a very impressive season last year. He's an undersized guard, but it doesn't seem to be an issue, really, on both sides of the floor. His field goal percentage can use some work. 43% from the field. You could be a lot better from that, especially if you're shooting 38 from 3. And I think that's the next thing he needs to be working on. It's simply just becoming more of an efficient scorer. 15 is Devin Booker. Now, he didn't have as good as a season he had the year prior. It was still a really good season though. Especially in the playoffs. Mwah. Just beautiful. Despite a few bad games he had, it was a great playoff run. Back-to-back 40-point games in the finals. In the conference finals, without Chris Paul for the first 2 games, he was still carrying the load. First round, Chris Paul's injured. He's holding it down. He did his thing. And I want to see more because now it's expected. It's going to be fun to see how Devin Booker handles the season. Now, I don't think any player had a more hyped offseason than this guy, Jason Tatum. I mean, we've seen the videos. We've seen the pics. He looks buff. He looks ready. 26-7 last year. A 50 ball in the playoffs against the Brooklyn Nets, taking the game away from them. Impressive. Without Jaylen Brown, one-man show. It was impressive to see. But this year, he looks like he's ready to take that next step into that superstardom. Can he inch his way into the top 10? I don't know about that yet. But if we're being real, if he just simplified his game into taking higher quality shots and not those bad shot selections that he usually takes, he could be a top 10 player. Maybe. Man. Mr. 50-40-90 himself. Congratulations, Kyrie. I'm actually very happy that he has become this efficient. It's like we already know how great of a scorer this guy is. But in the way he did it, it was so impressive. 27, 6 and 5, 1.4 steals. And doing this all, not only with playing with Kevin Durant, but with James Harden in the backcourt with him. Him surrendering the point guard duties to James Harden, showing that he could coexist with another ball handler. It goes to show, he may not be your number one option, but as a 2 or 3, he's one of the best. I believe that Paul George proved enough times that he could lead a squad deep into the playoffs. Listen, Kawhi got injured in the second round, mid to late second round, and then everyone thought that was it. But in the end, Paul George proved all the haters wrong, carrying the Clippers into the conference finals and competing against the Suns. And they could have won that series. If it wasn't for a few minor hiccups by Paul George, they could have went to the finals. We're going to see number one option, Paul George, once again. Because Kawhi's not going to be there for the good chunk of the season. So it's going to be on full display for everyone to witness. Hey man, listen. It was so hard to not put Dame into the top 10. But there's so much great players, he just edged out. Listen, this guy plays possessed. I watched a lot of Portland games the last couple years. And this guy's no joke. Next to Curry, he has to be one of the scariest offensive players to go up against. If you don't believe me, just watch that first round series against the Nuggets. You had players praying whenever he took a shot. Like, if he just had another star, just one other star with him, oh my goodness. Free Dame. That's all I'm gonna say. Free Dame. But that's where I'm gonna stop for now. Look out for the part 2, because I will be naming the top 10 players coming into the season in order. And I will be explaining very thoroughly why. But anyways, leave comments, like this video. Let's discuss it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree with me or I'm completely off with this list. I want to hear your thoughts. But stay tuned. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.